like I usually do when I present online last week. So if you missed it, just go pop into YouTube or wherever this is. Yeah, that's when the recording started. That's great. Watch the recording from last week if you missed my introduction. I'm still Ulrikke Akerbaek. It's a real hard to pronounce Norwegian name. Ulrikke will do fine in English. I have composed a little a QR code for you to use if you want to get to my blog. I have 2 blog articles related to this session, 0 to Hero, and I will post blogs that are in draft. I can't get around to everything. So blog posts are in draft right now that will end up on this this tag page for you if you just follow that QR link. Now, I will not go through my whole presentation, but as I was saying last week, no, not last week, but the last session, I'm not an MVP, but I am a business application consultant, and I live in Norway, and I work at a consultant business called Skill. We're a Microsoft partner. So that is why I do portals, because I work with it, and I've been working with it with a client for the last 4 years. So Microsoft acquired 8x Studio in December, and the next August, we actually started our first portals project at a customer's. And I've been on that project ever since. So I come from SharePoint and have a lot of user experience background. So that is why I love portals, because it fits my background as a web designer, web developer, front-end developer. Very good. So, and then I've been called by Victor. I think it was Captain Marvel you called me, yeah, of the group.
Yeah.
But actually, yeah. I'm not Captain Marvel. Actually, I am Black Widow. And I've been for as long as I can remember. It's really crazy. You don't think of yourself as a superhero, but whenever there's a dress up and it's Marvel theme, I'm always Black Widow. And this is me, I don't know, 5 years ago maybe. I have the costume and everything, and as you can see, the hair and everything. So I am a Black Widow, for all of you to know. Don't tell anybody, by the way.
I will go back to my post and.
Oh, no worries. It's just for fun, just for laughs. All right. The agenda for today is portal types, or portal features or templates. So we'll look into the different types, where you can find the documentation and Microsoft's written words about this, what the different portal features are, and give you a little deep dive into what the combinations are. We'll talk some about why it's like this. And then we'll look into what you need to do in order to get your hands on a customer portal and the portal types. So we need to get a customer engagement trial up and running, Dynamics 365 app. I will show you hands-on how to do this, and I'll show you the blog post that goes along with it. And then you'll get some resource pages, just some links that is useful. So first and foremost, we'll actually look into the 2 of the documentation sites. So first of all, it's in the portals documentation, and then it's on Learn. So just quickly show you what those pages look like. So this is the documentation for portals, and we have the available portal templates page. This will talk some about environments with Dataverse, common data service, you name Dataverse, and what you get out of the box without the Dynamics 365 apps on top. So if you don't have Dynamics 365, you only want to use a portal with Dataverse as your storage, you can create what's called a starter portal. And then if you have customer engagement apps, Dynamics 365 sales or customer service or field service or marketing or project service automation, you can create some additional portals. So we have the customer self-service, which is as it says, the customer self-service. You have case management. You have knowledge articles. And then you have the partner portal, which are possible to connect to the PSA, the product service automation, or the field service. So if you have the need to use functionality for those from those apps, the partner portal is the right one for you. And that's actually the portal type that my baby, my 3-year-old portal is built upon. And then you have the employee self-service portal, which is mostly for internal users. So that would be an internal facing portal. And then a community portal for instance, the user voice page that Microsoft have. You can submit your own ideas for product enhancements. That's built on a community portal. So you have things like ideas and voting and blogs and forums. You also have a portal from blank, which gives you just the base portal. And then there's a new portal coming that's called the customer portal. And that is a portal for chain management, supply chain management, and more for the F&O part of Dynamics. I have tried to create a customer portal trial, have not been successful. You need some kind of hookup that I don't have, and I don't have the time to dive into it. But you know, that's something that's coming if one of your customer has a need for that.
Remote.
So, excuse me,
Yeah,
is there a question?
Remote AC remote.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, Ulrikke, I muted everybody. Can you unmute yourself once again?
There. So there was not a question?
I don't think that was a question.
Okay. Oh, that's fine.
That.
All right, so scrolling down this page, you have this huge table that display all the things, all the features, and for the different portals and how they relate to one another. We're going to dive into that in just a second. But there's also, and I can't believe I didn't grab that from the, just going to cheat just a second. So this would be the learn page. If you're not familiar, Microsoft has this whole catalog of learning paths and modules for the product, and Portals is actually a part of that. There's a learning path with different modules for Portals. And in one of those, you have the Get Started with Portals page, where you see, just as I've been saying, the introduction to the different portal types. You get the portal features, and then you will be diving into each one of them, core components of portals, if you continue. And you can go through all the different parts of the portal and everything. Probably you're familiar with this, but they go through each template in more detail. So this will be a great way to start if you are not familiar with all the portal types. So, right, let me dive into my presentation once again and look at the different features that come out of the box. So, this is, for me, this is the list that I always have on hand because customers are always wondering, what does it include? What's out of the box? What do we get? And this is from the Learn page, I believe. You get this overview of what's actually what you don't have to build. And to me, that's pretty powerful because I've seen project where you try to create something similar to what you get out of the box with Portals, and it's a massive development project. And this is just hitting a button, waiting for an hour, and then you have this at your fingertips. So good idea to have this handy. Things like invitations and the invitation process, the case management, it's really powerful. The acknowledgement articles that you can connect to the different cases that you have, the case deflection, the ideas and the upvoting and the blogs. There's so much powerful stuff here that's well worth keeping in mind because not all of it is very visible to you or to your customers. So whenever there's a sale pitch for portals, I bring this along, and more often than not, the customer can check very many of these boxes. So moving forward, these are the portal types that I just told you about, and as you can see, most of them require Dynamics 365 apps to work. And we're going to dive into that later. So this is the big ugly table that I scrolled past in the documentation. I just copied it into a PowerPoint and try to make it a little more understandable, a little more visible. So across all the different types, you have multi-language support, you have portal administration, customization, extensibility, and theming, word ready. This is in every portal. And same thing at the bottom, you have the portal base, you have the workflows, you have all this and identity and advanced forms and etc. So these are in every portal type. So it's this bright spot in the middle that's where the differentiates are. So for instance, if we look at something that's very popular and that most, I believe, portals have a need for, it's the blog. And that is very only the community portal that have blog out of the box. Same goes for ideas. If you look at forums, you actually get forums in the customer self-service. You also get it in the employee self-service and in the community portal. So that's a much more used feature. And not many people know this, but the case management and the knowledge articles also exist in the community portal, as well as the customer self-service portal. So this is something that I also always keep handy, just to make sure that I align the customer need with whatever portal type I start with, because you cannot change this after the fact. And it took me a while when I started with portals to actually come to terms with this. I struggled to understand why, and I have not been given a great answer as to why. It is the combination that it is. These are packages that exist from ADX Studio times. There were a government type too. So when ADX Studio existed, they had a government portal type or template. That does not exist anymore. So there are things behind the scenes that we do not see that has a great influence on this. And those packages that they inherited from ADX Studio, they still exist. And it's obvious to me now that they are not easily changed. And that's why this is a rigorous or a very locked system. So be wary when you choose, because you will have to deal with whatever you're getting and not getting. And like I said, I had trouble with this initially, and I made probably a little too much fuss about it. And so in the end, Nick gave me the key to unlocking, combining these types. So what I'm going to show you today is how to put blogs, this right here, on a customer self-service portal. So I can create my own little checkbox right here, blogs on a customer self-service portal. There is nothing, as far as I know, that will prohibit you from mixing and matching other components, as long as you know what you're doing. So what we're doing today requires a bit of steady hand. You have to know what you're doing and the corners that you need to know all the corners, all the hidden things. But it's not impossible. You just have to know what you're doing. Right. And first and foremost, we need a trial or an environment, as I'm sure that you're all aware of how you do these days. This changes so often that I kind of forget every now and then how I create a trial. I find that the best way is to start with a Microsoft 365 or an Office 365 trial to give you a trial tenant. And then it's important to get your hands on a Dynamics 365 customer engagement plan trial, which you do from the administration page, purchase services, search for customer, identify the Dynamics 365 customer engagement plan trial, and then choose details and then start your trial. And this is a requirement for being able to create customer self-service portals or any of the other portal types. Now, once you've done that, you need to create a new environment. So please do never, ever, ever work in the default environment. It's not meant for anything else but exploring Canvas apps or flows just for your own use and for exploring. It's not meant for anything production, and certainly not portals. So always create your own environment, and when you have that license that we just purchased, you will have the ability to create a trial subscription-based type environment that will also allow you to add customer engagement, Dynamics 365 apps on top. Once we have that in order, we can create our portals. So I'm going to dive into my environment, and I'm going to show you what this looks like from the inside. So I have a customer service environment, which is a trial subscription based. And so I'm going to make preview.powerapps.com or make powerapps.com. And then I make sure that I'm in the right environment. So I choose my customer service environment. This is where I have my Dynamics 365 apps. And once I've chosen that environment, I can go into create on the left-hand side, and we'll see the different portal types. So first we have the community portal, which we looked at, that has the forums, the blog, ideas. And then we have a customer self-service portal, which is the case management, knowledge articles for external customers, case management. The partner portal for partners to collaborate on project and connecting to field service and product service automation. And then the employee self-service, which will be a great place to store in-house knowledge articles and internal case management. And then the new customer portal, which I have not tried yet, which is for the supply chain management. So what we need to do now, because we're now diving into the how to combine the portal types, we will try to put a blog on a customer self-service portal. That's what we're going to do today. And I have a blog post that you see on the screen, which describes how you do this in fairly amount of detail. So if I just scroll down here, recipe on how to combine portal types. So first of all, you need to create your primary portal. So this is the portal you want to keep. This is the keeper. This is the one you want to use for going forward. And you create a second portal that has that feature that you're missing. So in this example, we would create a customer self-service portal as our primary portal. This is what we want to keep. This is what we want to use for later for production. Then I create a community portal as my secondary portal because it has the blog feature that I'm interested in. So the way that we do that is by first clicking on the customer self-service. We give it a name and we choose a language. This is our primary. And then you are wise if you want to wait for that to be finished before you create another one. Today I tried to create them 2 seconds apart, and it took a while to get it done, and it was done like 2 minutes to 8, so like 2 minutes before this session started. So I had a demo ghost with me there on my side today. You create your secondary portal after your first one is done. It will be wise to choose the same language as you have the previous. And then you're up and running. And now that is where I'm at. So I'm actually going to do this with you. Okay, so let's look at how this actually looks. So in my make preview PowerApps.com under apps, I have the customer portal created 57 minutes ago, and then my community portal 29 minutes ago. And if I go into the portal management app, you'll see that I have 2 websites, one community portal and one customer self-service portal. Now this is the one that I want to keep, and this is the one that I just want to grab that feature from. So the what we want to do is we want to go in, for instance, we can start with the primary navigation. So you would have the web link sets, and you go into the footer for the community portal. So you'll see for each of these that we go into, most of them will now have, we will have 2 of each. So now we have a footer for the customer self-service, and we have a footer for the community portal. So we go into the one for the community portal, and we go into links, and you see there's a link to the blogs right here, and it's linked to the community portal. I open it up, and I choose to put it on the, because this is the footer from the community portal. I search for footer, and I choose the one for the customer self-service portal instead. So I don't do anything to the URL. I don't do anything to the linking to the pages. I just move that link from the footer from one over to the footer to the other. The publish state actually follows the portal that is the website that it's connected to. So I have to remove it and then add it for the other one. So this is actually the essence of what we're going to do throughout. So I'm going to do save and close. It's going to take a while to load, of course. I'm going to go back to the web link set, and I'm going to choose my primary navigation for the community portal. I'm going to go into links. Again, open the blog. Remove the primary navigation from community and choose customer self-service. Remove publish, add the other publisher. Save and close. Now, once we've done that, we need to look into the web pages. So we can go into web pages on the left and menu. And you can see this blogs page right here it's for the community portal. We don't have an equivalent in the customer self-service, so we're just going to move this over. So I'm going to remove community, choose customer self-service, same for publish, and then I'm going to save. Now web pages, as you know, they have web page as information web pages, and they have content pages. So I need to do the same with my localized content page. Now, strange thing, if I open this up, you'll see I cannot delete this. So this is not something I can edit. I cannot change this content page. So what I need to do actually is just remove it, delete. Yes. And then I will add it instead, add another. Oh, where'd it go? Maybe I deleted the wrong page. The information page instead. Wow, I actually deleted the wrong page. Well, doesn't really matter. Let me just have a little cheat. So I just created, I deleted actually information page. Very clumsy of me, but luckily I have another portal up and running with this page intact. So I just created it again, hooking it up to the community portal as it was. And then when I've saved this, I have the localized content page here. First, I changed the website to customer self-service, and then I changed the published to this one. I save, and then I can remove this page right here. This this content page, this language content page. I can create a new page, a new content page that's on the customer self-service side. And I put this on. Right. So it's all about really moving all the parts that that we have. That's related to the feature that we want. So if I go into the child pages now, we should have had some child pages, which we don't. So I need to create that too. Maybe I can. There we have it. The disconnected archive page should also be moved about. And as you can see right here, if I search for a parent page here, it doesn't immediately show me which portal website this is from. So then you see the arrow on the right. If I click it, very often you see which site it's from. So don't fright, you will get there. You will see that information. And it's hard when the portals have the same name, you cannot do this. So it's important that they have different names. Right, let's finish this up. So that was the web pages. Now web pages, they are related to web templates and they also need to be moved. So we're going to the page templates on the left, and then you can search for a blog. You can do some investigating. I know that these are the ones that I need to move. They're all connected to the wrong thing. And so it's the same here, actually. just removing that community portal. Come on, demo god, please. Let's do that again. So I search for blog. I open up the first one. And there's something blocking me. Great. And these are very important because you cannot recreate these. So these are not the web templates that you know that you can create. These are the web templates that come from the 8x Studio world. So be sure to never delete these and to keep them. And do not try to change anything here. The only thing that we do is relate them to the other portal. So this is very important. So it doesn't really want me to do that. I see that my internet connection is not really what I want it to be, and I'm not going to be able to do this without boring you guys to death. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to skip doing all of this. I'm going to go through and show you all the pieces that you need to move. So these are the page templates that we need to move. You also have web templates. No, for the blog, I don't believe we have web templates. But if we were going to do this for another kind of feature, we would need to go through all the web templates and make sure that there's no web template related to this that we didn't get. So important to have a look at those as well. And something that we don't often look into, for my part at least, the site markers. So for site markers for the blog, we have 3 site markers. One for the archive that is related to the page, the archive page that we have associated with our portal. The blog home, I deleted that page, so I would need to set this straight. Set this to the right blog page. And then, of course, the search. It's really important when you have a blog that your user are able to search, and so it would be not very good for a blog without search capability. The content snippets, of course, there are some related to blogs as well, so you can search for a blog and get most of them. So it would be an exercise of just moving these. And also, if you have multiple languages, you will have one of these each for each language. So make sure you get all of them. And then, of course, the site settings. I believe that is the last of it, actually. And for the blog, what I found is that we have the blog display name. I'm just going to kill my video here so we'll get a better connection. You have the display search that would have to be moved. We also have the news blog name, I believe. Yes, that you would have to move. And then it's related to search. So you would have the search filters for one. So the one for the community portal will have additional values that include blog and blog post, for instance, in in the search filters. The one for the customer self-service portal will not. So this is an exercise of taking this out, putting it somewhere in a notepad file or whatever, and then extracting the small details that is missing and putting them here. So for this example, I know that the filters that we want are all in here, so I can just copy that and put it in the customer self-service one. And then there's the search query. We need to do the same thing. So this is the one right here. We have two of those as well. Copy the one from the community page and pasting it into the self-service. And then there's the record type faceted entities. So this would be the last one right here. So the same thing goes here. Just copy this value and put it into the other one. Now all these corners and bits and pieces are found in the blog, and you get all the names and all the settings for this change there. So now the last thing that you need to make sure is that you have no overlapping URLs. So it's quite important that there's no URLs that are the same in the community self-service site. So then I can go into my web pages. I can filter the web pages on the URL, and then I can go in and I can filter and only show customer self-service, for instance. And then I can go and make sure that I don't have any duplicates. It looks good. So if I would have two forums right now, I would remove the one of them. And then blog also have one particular web role, the blog author's web role. This is also something that I need to remove, or not remove, I'm sorry, move. And then it's a matter of relating this to my contact. So I make sure that my contact is actually related to this web role. I'm adding it. And then we can go check out that the blog is working. So in every customer self-service, every community portal, there would be a blog, some blog posts, 2 blogs and additional blog posts underneath related to this community portal. So it would be a good idea to move these as well if we want to see blogs appearing on our portal. So we will go into the posts as well and updating these. No, these will be these are just connected to the blog, so it's only a matter of updating the blogs actually. And save. Now let's verify that this actually works. So I know that I skipped a few things, but I'm excited to see nonetheless how much mayhem that I created. So I will go into my portal, my customer portal, hit browse. And of course, we need to clear the cache. But as you can see already, we have the blogs on the top. We would not have that in an out-of-the-box customer self-service portal. So right away we see that this is working. Now this change would work only by moving the primary navigation. So it's important that you go deeper to see that it actually works. So as a good host, I have cheated a bit, so I will be able to show you what this actually looks like. On another environment. So this is a portal that I created earlier. So as you can see, I have only one portal, and this is the customer self-service portal. It's in Norwegian, so you won't understand a word. But as you can see, we have the case management from the customer self-service portal, as well as the blog. So clicked on the wrong thing. So this is what the blog looks like. So I hit blog in the main menu, and then we have a page that displays all the blogs, all the recent blog posts. They are 5 years old because they're from the legacy portal type. And so they came with the box, edX Studio box 5 years ago. They haven't been changed since. You have the possibility to look at older posts if we were to have those. You get an abstract of the text, and you have the ability to go into a blog post, continue reading. If there were comments, you would see them in here. You have the different blogs here, and you have the possibility to get a feed of all the blog posts. You can search, and you have the archive page. So if you just look into one of these blog posts, oh, I'm sorry about the connection, guys. It's really terrible. Come on, demo gods, please. Right, winter update 2013, guys. Very exciting. Now, I wish this had more images and tables and HTML just to show you how powerful the blog content can be. But this out of the box is actually quite powerful, and you can create different kinds of blogs and tags, and you have different options, and they're all managed from the blogs that you have here on your Portal Management Studio. Below knowledge articles, you will have the blogs menu item, and this is where you administer your blogs, create a new blog and posts, set the author. You can have a publish date, you can publish things later, you can have an accept or an approval flow for these. They can have comments, feedback, etc. So really great piece of feature that you can easily, in my view, it takes about half an hour if you've done it sometimes, or an hour if it's your first time, to get it over to a new portal. Now, we're not quite done. So there's a treat to this that's not all that obvious. We need to clean up after ourselves. We cannot be happy having two different portals, one that we don't use, in my opinion. So what we need to do is we need to delete, and yes, I mean delete, and it feels quite drastic to do, but it is necessary. So we need to delete this portal right here, and we need to delete that web page that we have, the additional web page that we no longer need. Now, what this actually do is nothing, and that's the pretty part, because when we create a new portal, what we get is a set of solutions. And you can see them actually under solutions on your left-hand side. And you can see where they come from. So the community portal solution is here. So this is all the community portal components. And there's more. There's the portal timeline, there's the customer service and knowledge management. Now these will all still be here. And that's the pretty part of it. So when we delete this portal here, it doesn't really do anything other than delete this item here, this app that allow us to edit and show it. So we can go in here, the 3 dots, you choose delete, and be sure to delete the right one. Delete. Have a drink or a sip of wine maybe. And then we go into our portal management studio again. Right at the top, we look at the web sites. And then we select the community portal and we hit delete. This will remove all of the additional things from our portal management. So you will no longer have 2 forums and 2 search pages and 2 of every site settings. This will go in and clean up after you. So now you only have the things that remain are related to the customer self-service. It will be customer self-service all over the place. And this, I think, is it's a lesson learned. So if you've ever been there, and I've created so many portals in my life and I've destroyed them and ruined them. You know what you can do? You can just go in and delete them and you can start again. Or you can combine them and you can clean up after yourself. And it would actually be like starting over. So in an environment, how many portals do you create? I think you could create 2 portals for every environment now. Well, they will all be located in the portal management. You only have 1 portal management. So that's a great lesson for you to take away. I hope that you can actually delete them again and that it will clean up after himself. And as far as the blog post goes, that's actually the wrap up. That's actually the blog in its completion. And so if you want to do this for yourself, you can just go in and look at the link, go through the portal, the blog step by step. And these are the resources. So I included a link to the docs and the learn pages where you can learn more about the different types that we have. The 2 different places to start your trial. If you're a Microsoft partner, you would have access to the demos environment. And then there's the blog and the blog post. So actually, been talking for like an hour straight. That's everything. Hope there was
yeah, this is really good.
Great.
Folks are posting here. I mean, they have been posting ever since the beginning. They say, "Oh, I'm gonna try this later tonight," or "Yeah, this is very insightful information." So thank you. That's very nice.
Great. I'm so happy. I'm so glad.
Yeah, let's see if we have any hands up. We don't have anything so far. I'm gonna show a few things here, and then if you have questions, you can either raise your hand or put it on the chat window. But I'll just profit from the time that's left, and then show a couple things that kind of goes along with what you're presenting, Ulrikke. So
Yeah.
really appreciate your time and showing the secrets here for us. So yeah, let me share my screen really quick here, and then just talk about a few things. So first thing I wanna say is if you wanna have access to more information, even download the assets that Ulrikke is talking about. We have a link on dantas.ca 0 to hero, and then you can access the repo. to download the slide decks as well as samples that we have. Francesco has provided all the stuff that he presented last week as files, so you can refer to that there as well. For next week, we have the another giant, Jim Novak. I haven't picked up a name for him yet, but if you do have one, Rick, or anybody in the team, let me know. I'll start calling him by that name. But yeah, he's going to be presenting on Liquid programming for the next 2 weeks, so it should be really good. I mean, Jim, I met Jim, I think it was 2 years ago in a Saturday event that we did in New York, and I mean, the guy's good. He's really good and so humble and so helpful. Anytime you have questions, he's glad to help. So really appreciate him taking the time to show us show us liquid programming and all the cool thing that he does. Another thing that I want to show you, and I'll throw this link here in the chat window shortly, but this is the repo for the last open source version of Portals that was available, and this is from Microsoft. It is not necessarily the same version that we run today, but as Rick pointed out, a lot of the stuff that she's showing is based on understanding of how Portal works in the back end. So when she talks about the rewrite page templates, for example, that points to files in this source code. So, I mean, you cannot take to bank that things are the same today as they were a couple years ago, but at least you have a frame of reference. Ulrikke touched on a few content snippets that she used that are not shipped with the deployment of Portals. Alexander will talk about those in I think in 3 weeks. But we know about those by diving into the content that is available in the source code, okay? So if you don't have anything to do on your weekends, if you have a lot of time in your hands, you can always refer to the source code and see if what you were doing is still possible based on this reference. Again, there is no guarantee that what's available here is what's being used today. And better yet, if what you're going to use based on this reference will be kept in place by Microsoft in an upcoming version. But it is a good frame of reference just to see how the internals work, even though it may not be the latest and greatest version that is available. So that is something that I wanted to point out. It's almost like you use it at your own risk, but it is there for you to explore. At least you'll know how portals work internally. All right, so let me stop sharing, and we don't have any questions. So look at you, Ulrikke. Was there a hand up?
Mark? I think so. From Mark?
Yes, hi Victor, and Ulrikke as well. Thanks for the presentation. I was wondering, the last few sessions we saw a lot about teaming the custom portals, and I was wondering, does all of this applies as well to the Dynamics 365 portals that, such as the one that you showed us today? Or I saw that there's different types also of templates. There's a rewrite one. So I'm just wondering if you can pretty much shape those as well, the same way that you did for the custom portals.
Yes, you can. The internals are the same still, Mark. But what you lose essentially, well, I wouldn't say lose. What you don't have is the make.PowerApps Portal Studio experience. Sorry, so you were not able to use like the CSS designer for that matter, but the internals are the same.
Okay.
And then you would have to dig into and find the solution files to install them yourself. So to the portal, PowerApps portals allows for you to do the one-click provision, right? With the Dynamics portals, if you're using the on-prem version, you have to install the solutions yourself.
Okay, gotcha. Thanks.
And unfortunately, if you're on a normal version of portals, the internal pages that I show you, the ADX, when it's a reference to a rewrite template, you cannot edit them, unfortunately. So they're hands off, and that's why I think that customize your logging page would be my most popular blog post, because that actually show you how you can work around it and how you can inject some JavaScript and some CSS to those pages, even though we cannot really reach them. So if that's something that you're aiming for, then check out that blog post as well. We'll show you how to do some simple injections of some hooks in your HTML structure that will allow you to make some changes.
Okay, thanks. That's actually what I meant, to actually, if we were able to reach inside those ESPX templates. So that pretty much answers my questions. Thanks.
And I agree with you. I wish I could touch that profile page, but it's not accessible to us, I'm afraid.
Yeah, so it really depends on whether you're hosting this on-prem. If you're doing, because I mean, when you say Dynamics portals, you have the SaaS offering, right? And you have this one version that I showed you, the Git repo, that it is still Dynamics portals, but it's the version that you host on-prem, right? So if you're hosting a SaaS, yes, you don't have access to the ASPX pages. If you are hosting that on-prem, you do.
Okay. Thanks.
We have a few more hands. Francesco, you can go.
Great session again, Ulrikke. Thanks for that. I just wanted to quickly say I've got a blog post for getting your hands all over that profile page. So you can replace that with Liquid with little effort. And just in response to the previous question, you can style anything on those rewrite templates with CSS in the same way you would otherwise. It's just what we're getting at is you can't change the structure of those rewrite templates, but by all means, anything you want to change with colors, fonts, all that kind of thing with CSS, that's all good.
That's correct.
And
that's true.
I'll forget a blog post out soon, but I've recently rewritten those blog templates with Liquid, so I could get. So hopefully share that soon.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, that's a lifesaver though.
Yeah, I'm gonna use that in my next project actually. Yeah, looking forward to it.
Nice one.
Yeah, we have, I think, Manuja, if you want to manage now. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, thanks, Victor, and thanks, Ulrikke, for wonderful sessions last week and this week. First of all, thanks because I've learned a lot of shortcuts previous session like SAS, CSS, and theming part, and in this session, you before having the question, like in the beginning, you have shared one slide where that covers all the features from the different templates, because in that we have saw all the features from the respective template like ideas, blog from the community. So now you have showed that we can move the feature of one template to the another template, like blog from community to customer service. So my question is, like, are we ordered to do these kind of things? I mean to say, like, because in the Microsoft all the documents they are given, they said these features are meant only for this particular template, portal templates. Now we are stealing that template and moving into another template. If we don't have any copyright things or any other things, happy to do this kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think Microsoft mentions that because of the portal is based on data, right?
Yep.
Well, code and data. We don't mess with the code, the internals, the .NET code as much as we do Liquid and JavaScript. And because it's based on data, if you were to change, for example, a site setting that portals rely on, or a particular web template that portal uses to load the main page, as an example, then now you have trouble in your hands. Try to restore and rebuild. So I think that's where they're coming from.
Okay.
Not necessarily that you would be legally prosecuted if you were to use a feature from a template to another, especially because the licensing model is the same, right? Between in terms of portals. Of course, some of the portal features are bound to specific modules of Dynamics 365. For example, if you want to use the customer service portal template, you need to have a license to the services module or product in Dynamics. So a lot of the entities that particular template relies on, you would not have in your Dataverse instance per se. But it's more a structural dependency than it is a legal or a licensing limitation, if you will.
Yeah.
And
Thank.
I'm sorry.
Sorry. Yes, please. Yes, Ulrike.
No, I have two things to add to that. So the first thing is, if you we actually attempted this and stopped. So if you don't have Dynamics 365 and you have Dataverse out of the box, and you create your own case management, call it incident, and create that, you will still need to buy that license. You cannot work around licensing by creating things yourself. So be wary if you create things that already exist. It would actually be right for Microsoft to ask a license from you. Now, the second thing is, this way of moving features from one prototype to another was actually meant to be in the documentation. So
Okay.
when Nick shared this with me, he actually shared this huge document that was pretty nice. It was formatted just like the documentation pages, but they just find that it was too advanced. It was too deep dive for it to be in the documentation, and people wouldn't understand it. So that's why it's not included in there. So I took it upon myself to share it with the world. So don't worry, it's fine to use it, and Microsoft actually applauds you if you do.
Yeah, and it may come a time where
Okay.
can choose.
I have one last question. Since Ulrich already brought that point, like mentioning on the license part, like if I go with the customer service portal, like we have to go with the Dynamic 365 license. But if I don't have the license, if I go with a Dataverse approach, can't I replicate the same tables in the Dataverse for
Yes, you can.
only to those pages?
No,
Oh.
but if you do, they would be legally right if they required a license from you.
Yeah. So the
Yes.
rule of thumb when it comes to licensing, if you replicate any of the products, not only the feature replication, but if you were to replace a particular functionality in the ecosystem that already exists in one of the modules, you are legally open. You are open for a lawsuit. So and that's not limited to portals only. If you were to do a Power App, for example, that qualify leads in your Dataverse, then you're forced to have that sales module license. So
Correct.
it works for any kind of app outside
Yes.
of the D365 arena, if you will.
No, actually, we do have a D365 license. If I with a couple of products like sales, marketing, and other stuff. So I was just curious, thought of checking like could I go with, because I'm also learning a few stuff. And my final question: is this only the shortcuts, or do you have any other shortcuts? Because next session is from different person. So if you have any other shortcuts, please let us know so that it helpful for not only for me, others who are there in this meeting.
I'm any other shortcuts? I don't know. I would have to think about that, but not that I can think of right now.
Or even Victor also can share.
Sorry, say that again. Manager.
I said, otherwise you would also share, like if you have any other shortcuts or any other things that we can learn, which
Yeah.
can
Of
be
course.
reusable.
I think that those will become new articles in the future. And also, I don't think we are done with Farik. I think she will be back. And one of the comments we made here in the chat, Farik, you said you're not an MVP, and I said at least not yet. But truly though, I personally consider, I mean yourself, Franco, and other folks, MVPs based on the quality of the content that you share, and
Thank you.
like the character and the love that you all share through the community. So
Thank you.
in all
Appreciate it.
you guys are already. So thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. That's very gracious. Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, Franco has still his hand up, so I'm not sure. Is it like are you dabbing or you have a question?
No, sorry, the trigger finger slipped. It was meant to be a heart.
It's a lazy hand.
All right. Well, Franco, I hope you heard me loud and clear. I mean, at least in my heart, you both are MVPs for the quality of work that you do. So thank you very much.
Way to go, guys. Awesome session.
And we're
All right.
looking to you now, guys, for the next shortcut. Maybe it comes from one of you. So
That's right.
make sure the shout out on any social media if you do. We'll looking forward to it.
Yes. Thanks, everybody, and we'll see you next week. Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
You